time for another lovely edition of the Sports Lounge on Elevated TV. My name is Idafi Matthew Esiogene, and I have a wonderful crew with me in house today to talk about everything that has gone on in the beautiful world of sports. We'll touch on football, basketball, Formula One, even local sports is not left out on the show. And you know what? This show will stay on air if you out there will subscribe. Not only that, comment in the comment section as well as share it amongst your friends. They say if you see something good, you share with your people. And if you think this is good for you and you want it to continue to run, then you have to subscribe, share, and drop a comment. Advise us where we need advice. Tell us things you think we should add to this show and things we should improve on the show. Well, I'm not doing this alone. I've got Ojo Bamiji. I call him Rick Ross on the show. Ojo Bamiji, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And I've got the Formula One expert. We call him our foreign expert, Francis. We call him Pope Francis as well. Francis says, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And a wonderful man who understands statistics better than anybody. In my MBA class, I remember when they taught us statistics, they talk about substitution by elimination. And when I think about how he came into the show, substitution by elimination really does come to mind. Precious Omosue, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, everybody's happy to be here, and straight away, let's hit the ground running. One of the things that surprises me this weekend is in Formula One. I spent time observing and following the qualifiers like I've never done before on Saturday. Now, this is what happened in the qualifiers. The Ferrari cars, the two of them, Leclerc and Vettel, fell off the grid. One's engine and then the other one fuel pump, just didn't work, and they were off the grid. So it meant that they were starting from 20th position, and you would just calculate in your head that they are the relegation candidate. But somehow they find their way to the top. Lewis Hamilton, who's the defending champion in the German Grand Prix, won it last year, but came over this year, and we all thought that because he made the pole position, he was also going to give that run. But then I'm not the one who's going to talk about it. Let's make sense of all of this, because what happened in the German Grand Prix this weekend, I don't think it's happened before, but they said it's the most difficult track of all the tracks that we have. And this is halfway through the season. And just when we think that Mercedes and their team are going to coast to a routine victory, that didn't happen. Francis, isn't it? What happened in Formula One this weekend?
So this weekend was a bit dicey with the weather coming into play. The weather just determined all the factors that played out. So the Ferrari cars fell out 10th and 20th during the qualifiers because of the fuel pump and, as you said, the engine issue for Vettel. So, but they came in strong. Already, everybody knew that the Ferrari had the fastest cars on the grid. They had the most downforce, and with that, the most speed. But the Mercedes cars, as there was a light out during the race, the Mercedes cars took off like nobody's business. And Bottas chased Lewis Hamilton like a bullet chasing his victim, and they pulled out. But in the third lap, Perez, one of the Force India drivers, and he just spun off the track already because of the wet track, and his tires were cold, and obviously the brakes too were cold, not hot enough to deliver what he needed. So he spun off and he invited safety cars, and that ended up giving us a race with 5 safety cars, where the leader, the person who won the Grand Prix, had to stop 5 times to change tire. That was just incredible.
Well, they say in the sports of Formula One, expect the unexpected, but at the same time, expect the unpredictable. It's the same thing with basketball. There's something about basketball. That's why when you win a basketball game with a buzzer beater, it's a special moment. It comes like when Manchester United, for instance, won the 1999 Champions League. That, for me, is not the most exciting Champions League finals that I've seen. I've seen Liverpool go 3 goals down and come back from 3 goals down to win. I've seen AC Milan trash almighty Barcelona in 1991, and everybody thought that team was not good enough, but Don Fabio Capello worked magic. And I've seen Nigeria come back from a 4-goal defeat position to do the things that they did. But then in basketball, there is magic in basketball that amazes me. But then something happened this past week, where our basketball team, our home-based basketball team, had to drive from Nigeria to Mali. and then they played 3 games and lost all 3. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, why didn't they fly to Mali? And considering that when it comes to football, you have ministers, you have people like Dangote, you have the governor of Lagos State, for instance, going to say they will give you $20,000 each and a lot of all that. Why didn't somebody just volunteer to fly the basketball team there? Well, I don't know why that happened anyway. One day I'll have the basketball people to ask them. But talking about basketball, let's go to Houston, where our very own Ayotunde Onobolu is there to make sense of everything that is happening in basketball. We call it Basketball Update with Ayotunde Onobolu. When we return, I'll be back with the guys in-house. But let's go straight to Houston. Ayotunde, over to you.
It's clutch time, baby. Hello, basketball fans, and it's a delight to be with y'all again on the very best of basketball with me, Ion the Sports Lounge, only on Elegbeta TV. And just in case you're new to the channel, this show recaps the major happenings in the world of basketball over the past week. So let's get right into the action. Russell Westbrook was finally unveiled as a member of the Houston Rockets. It was kind of weird to see Russ dressed in Rockets colors. And when asked about how he and James Harden could play together successfully in the coming season, Westbrook said, and I quote, "We've been friends for many, many years, since I was 10 actually, so we've played with each other in Oklahoma City, and to be able to win something, you've got to be willing to sacrifice some parts of your game, and we both understand that. We both understand that we have one common goal, and that's to win a championship. We understand what we have to do. I'm not worried about it, and I know James isn't worried about it. I can play off the ball. I don't have to touch the ball to impact the game." End of quote. Well, time will tell how good the Rockets are with both Harden and Westbrook on the floor. All right, let's move on to other news. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were also unveiled at the Los Angeles Clippers. It was a packed house that saw Clippers owner Steve Ballmer so fired up. Kawhi said the Clippers have actually been the better team than their city rivals, the Los Angeles Lakers, over the past few years from a basketball standpoint. He also denied claims that he recruited Paul George to the Clippers. Come on, Kawhi. You think we're kids? George himself claimed he's been a Clipper fan since childhood. Come on, man. But in these days of social media, you can be sure of one thing: everything you say will be kept in someone's records, and when the time is right, they will expose you. I mean, just check this out. A video was released showing Paul George telling Dwayne Wade that someday he would desire to play for the Lakers, and a tweet dating back to 2010 showed Paul George supporting the Lakers. Oh yeah, now Paul George also made another statement which was countered by someone involved. He said the decision to trade him from Oklahoma City was mutual, but general manager Sam Presti of OKC has denied anything mutual in that decision and just confirmed reports that it was Paul George who approached the front office and demanded to be traded specifically to the Clippers. Let's talk some national team basketball news now. It looks like a lot of countries participating in the FIBA World Cup in August in China will be believing in their minds that they can actually beat the United States of America. And that's because of the high number of high-profile withdrawals from the team. No LeBron James, no Anthony Davis, no Stephen Curry, no Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, DeMar DeRozan, and so on and so forth. 35 players were originally listed by USA Basketball for the World Cup and the next Olympic Games, but only 6 of those will now be available to represent their country as of now. The other 11 guys that will make up the 17-man team were invited as various replacements and replacements for replacements, but of course it's the US. They remain the favorites to win the World Cup, and I feel it will mean a whole lot to the new head coach Greg Popovich of the San Antonio Spurs to win with the crop of players he has. Coming home, the Tigers, Nigeria's national women's basketball team, have begun camping ahead of next month's Afro Basket for Women in Senegal. Head coach Otis Huli invited 15 players to the team, 10 of whom were part of the historic 2018 World Cup team. There are no home-based players on the team, understandably. Some of the usual suspects invited are Adara Elonu, Aisha Mohammed, Izine Kalu, Atoye Yigifa, and of course Evelyn Akato. The men, meanwhile, the home-based men, they were defeated heavily in the Afro Can in faraway Mali. The home-based guys played 3 games, lost all 3 games. What a sad return for a team that had to travel by road to Mali to honor a tournament and could just play. They played their very first game just moments after they landed in Mali. Very, very sad development. Congratulations to Ndidi Madu, who's been appointed assistant head coach of the Tigers. Afrobasket winner, I must say, for the team in our playing days. And that would do it on this week's episode of The Best of Basketball with Ayo on the Sports Lounge, only on Elegbete TV. Make sure you subscribe, like, and drop a comment in the comment section. Also, do well to share this video and let the whole world know about the Sports Lounge on Elegbete TV. Till I come your way next week, it's clutch time, baby.
All right, thank you very much, Ayotunde Onobulu. And I like the fact that this time around you're not switching your face cap and you're holding on to your beautiful basketball. Is that the one they're going to use? Is that Spalding? Well, I don't know about that. Let's go back again to Formula One. Francis, I'm not going to let you go that much. I don't know who won the race. I wasn't there. I was busy doing some other things. And I hear that there was a guy who made it to the top three. Has never been there before. What happened?
So we had a race winner who's just barely 21, about turning 22.
Well, so that's how Lewis Hamilton started.
Yeah, that's how Lewis Hamilton started.
So is this the beginning of the story for someone?
No, he has been an upcoming rookie, Verstappen. He has been blazing the tracks, and everybody, even before today, knowing that this was going to be a wet race day, people had already known that this track was tailored for two people, Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen. These are two people who know how to cruise their way through traffic and through wet grounds. They know how to find
You talked about Lewis Hamilton before you go to Verstappen winning this race, because the way you're standing now, you're standing like Verstappen won the race. Yes. What happened to Lewis Hamilton?
So Lewis Hamilton, a lot of bad judgment, and okay, at first there was an accident, and so the safety car came and he pitted. The pitting dropped him to 5th position. First dropping to 5th is not so bad, but then he spun, and after spinning at the same entrance where everybody was having an issue, Leclerc crashed out there and he crashed his own, but after crashing was able to make it out and just bypass into the pits, where the stewards added 5 seconds penalty onto his total time. So when he went to change, when he changed tire, I was bragging that they changed 4 tires in 2 seconds. But before, when you have a 5-second penalty, before you change tire, if you have a penalty, once you get there, they wait for 5 seconds before they touch your car. And that's what happened. And by the time he came out, he was running at the back of the field.
So the fact that he mastered running, is a master of water game, doesn't even play any part again when he came back. It was too late, right?
It's not like it was too late, but I think at a point when I now saw him spin off again, I said, this man is under pressure and frustrated.
The gods worked for him last time in the British Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. The gods again worked against him this time.
At first, when Leclerc spun off the track and crashed out, I said, the gods are working in Hamilton's favor again. Because Leclerc and Verstappen, Leclerc hunting Verstappen will give Verstappen some time to try and defend his position. But with Leclerc out, Verstappen can just shoot for the skies, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, it means that in Formula One, you really cannot just count on your car and your ability alone.
No.
There's some other external
There are
factors.
a lot of
Somebody
factors.
can spin out of control and hit your car,
Yes.
and your race is over.
Yes.
Well, that's one. But before I come to you, Precious, let me go to Rick Ross here. Can you say, I mean, in these 3 weeks that we've been on this set now, can you see you're beginning to get the hang of Formula One?
Well, I tweeted, was it a week ago, that it has overtaken golf as my number 6 sport.
And you put them in number 6.
But I actually read some things about Formula One this past weekend, thanks to his analysis. I knew Lewis Hamilton did win. That was a surprise.
You have a new cover. Yeah. So let me come to you, Francis. Straight up, we're jumping off the Formula One track and we're going to football. And I've got a lot of questions this week, and people are like, okay, Idafi, who's going to make the top 4 in the EPL? What's your prediction? As I used to do when I was on radio. But this time around, I need to bring it to you, because the way you brought the statistics from the AFCON and compared it with the Euro 2016 was incredible. I've not seen anyone, in all of my years of doing this job, I've not seen anyone that good. So let me bring it to you now. You know, put the 6 teams in the top 6, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, on your screen, and give us the numbers. What are you seeing in your crystal ball?
Okay, so I'm going to use some stats from last season for the top 6 teams in the Premier League, compared and contrast, and check out their current transfer activities. Those are the metrics we will use to predict the possible top four for the Premier League next season. So we'll start from the simple to the little bit complex.
Okay.
Yeah, the obvious thing is goal scoring, goals scored. Manchester City scored 95 goals last season.
Yep.
Liverpool scored 89 goals. Chelsea scored 63 goals. Spurs scored 67. Arsenal scored 73 goals. Manchester United scored 65. Now, to score a goal, there must be shots. City came out tops again. They had an average of 18 shots per game for the 38 games in the season.
The Avengers.
14 shots per
The
game.
Avengers.
Now, Liverpool had 15.1 shots per game. Chelsea weighed in with 16, an average of 16 shots per game. Arsenal had 12.3 shots per game. Manchester United 13.8 shots per game. The third, these are offensive stats now. We are going to do offensive and then do defensive stats. Okay. So the offense, or for the offensive stats now, the last we are going to be looking at is the percentage time spent in the opposition third. The opposition third is anywhere close to the box 18. Yeah. So Man City spent 35% of the time close to the 18 of the opponent. Liverpool 31%, Chelsea 32%, Spurs 28%, Manchester United and Arsenal 27% each. Look at the transfer activity for each one of them. You will notice quickly, let me say this here, from the stats I just reeled out now. Yeah. Chelsea scored the least among the top six.
Yes.
However, they only came second to Man City at the shots per game level. Yeah. That tells you where Chelsea's problem is. Profligacy in front of goal. Yeah. Okay, so look at City this season. The summer transfer market, they've not added anything major to their team. Same with Liverpool. Chelsea, however, have sold their biggest attacking assets. Eden Hazard contributed 31 out of the 63 goals they scored. 16 goals and 15 assists. Hazard is off to Real Madrid. Who's going to replicate those figures?
They've got Pulisic, they've got Ansel Odoi.
Oh.
And then they have almighty excuse, transfer ban.
I think the only way Chelsea will get out of this jail is if they distribute the goals, the burden of goal scoring.
That's even my biggest problem with Chelsea, because it's not the fact that Eden Hazard has gone.
Yeah.
The fact that Higuain is gone, they don't have Morata back in their team. I'm an Arsenal fan, and I know how Olivier Giroud plays. And we've seen that, for stop looking at me like that. we've seen that Olivier Giroud does not win you titles. He can take you to the place where you see the title. He's a Moses. He can take you to see the promised land, but he will not take you there. So I don't know. I hear that they want to give Jason number 9 to one player.
Tammy Abraham.
That's how they destroy. That's how they destroy another Nigerian player. That's how they take him to the shrine and sacrifice him to the gods.
We'll see how it works out. Now for Arsenal, I'm going to keep Dani Ceballos in the cooler. I won't talk about him. I heard something interesting about Nicolas Pepe. And he's a player who, if Arsenal signed, from the start you see goal scoring. Oh, interesting.
And he's like the number 5 in the whole statistics of European goals scored and created.
Did you pay for his transfer?
I said that to money.
Pepe bagged 23 goals last season.
Yeah. As a winger.
22 out of those goals. Yeah, 22 out of those goals he scored with his left foot. It tells you something about him. The guy has very, very strong left foot. However, that his strength could be his weakness. He only scored 1 goal with his right foot last season. So if defenders in the Premier League can learn to show him to his weaker foot, then they neutralize his
They don't know how to defend that much in the Premier League.
The season will still be here. We'll see how that pans out.
There are only 4 major defenders in the Premier League. Wan Bissaka is one of them. Virgil van Dijk is another one of them. And then 2 other ones hanging out somewhere. So not really something to worry about.
Okay, now let's move quickly to the defensive aspect of the game.
Yeah, this is interesting.
It's simple, again, today a bit complex.
Yeah, so that's terrible.
Yeah. Now, goals conceded. I'm particular about this metric because A statement was credited to Sir Alex Ferguson some time ago when he said, your forwards will win you games, but your defense will win you titles. Yeah. We should also find this interesting that over the course of the past 5 seasons, the winners of the Premier League title have either been the team that considered the least number of goals or the team that considered the second least number of goals.
Yeah.
Tells you something. So Man City last season considered just 23 goals. Liverpool considered 22. Chelsea and Spurs considered 39 each. Arsenal considered 51.
No, let's not talk about that one.
Arsenal considered 51.
Yeah, supposed to be in the bottom 10.
Yeah. Okay, so United considered 54 goals. Let's now look at something else. The time spent in your own third. Time spent in your own third could be the period where your team is under danger, under pressure. Manchester City spent just 19% of the time in their own third.
So once you get the ball, they're accelerating forward.
Straight up. Now,
I need to see Liverpool's.
Liverpool 23%.
Okay, so good.
Chelsea 24.
Arsenal.
Spurs 27. Arsenal 29.
No, but does that mean that Man City is a strong defensive unit?
There are different ways we look at.
So the way you look at that is, I think the answer to that is when they say the best form of defense is attack.
Yeah.
So for as long as they're attacking and putting the ball forward, they are defending well.
Yeah.
Because if they cause the opposition not to cross their half and come over here, that's another form of defending.
Exactly.
Am I right about
Yeah,
that?
very correct. So Arsenal 29% of the time, United 27%. So what have City done? They're one of their biggest problems last season was playing without Fernandinho.
Yeah.
Statistics show that City with Fernandinho recorded an average of 2.7 points per match and won 87% of the matches with Fernandinho. Without Fernandinho, they could only manage 2 points per match and only won 67% of the games without Fernandinho.
Whoa. So this is why they
Tells
spent
you
almost 70 million on Rodri.
They got Rodri. Interesting fact about Rodri. Apart from the fact that Rodri brings in physical presence that Fernandinho does not have, Rodri is 6'3". Rodri came second in the La Liga last season for the players who spent 1,000 minutes plus on the pitch. Rodri had the second highest number of recovery of possession in the La Liga. So that's a quick fix for Fernandinho.
Well, if we leave this man, I always say that it's a spinner on the mill. It doesn't stop. If we leave you here, you give us statistics, even about our parents that we don't know. We have to go on this break because we've got some other things to do on the show. And I still have my man, Bam, here to come aboard and tell us some stuff. And we still have somebody in the dressing room warming up seriously to come in and give us something from the grassroots. Let's go on this break. When we return, Emmanuel Sebastian will be on set with us and he would break down grassroots. But then I would come to my man here and he will give us all of the things he's got in his cupboard. Right now, stay with us. Don't forget, if you don't subscribe, you don't share, you don't comment, you would send us out of business. So keep us in business, so keep us here and serve you with statistics like it's done and Formula One excellence like the Pope has done and all of the things that we bring on this show. Subscribe and stay glued to Elevated TV. My name still remains Daffy. Matthew Eshelgene. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. It's the Sports Lounge on Elevated TV. I still remain the Elevator One of Sports, or you call me Daffy Matthew Eshelgene. Right now, we have a substitution that we've had. It's not because, I always say that substitution is not always done because the player is not doing well, but sometimes you have to make substitutions because the guy on the bench has something in a different dimension to bring. And that's why we're bringing in Emmanuel Sebastian. Emmanuel Sebastian, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good to be here.
And straight up, I need to ask you, what's been cooking in grassroots from your end?
Okay, grassroots football. So I was in a gym with and I was privileged to meet. So I was privileged to meet, a top coach. His name is Coach Baski. He's a man who's been coaching a very long period of time. Coach Baski, that's the name I'm calling him. So yeah, that's the nickname. So and he was sharing the story with me how players have passed through him, players who he has trained, and they end up playing so many places across the world.
What are the names?
He has players in Bahrain. His name is Ifani. There's a player named Ifani. There's a player that passed through him as well. His name is Okereke. He now plays for Club Brugge in Belgium. So, and a lot, there are so many names of players that are passionate, but there's this burning question you might ask yourself, why do these players tend to forget their roots? I don't know, is it at times these managers tend to be so entitled, or is it that these players just feel they no longer require the service of this manager, they feel they're no more at that level, and they just let go of their roots?
Football is a very, very funny culture. People pass through you, but it's not just football, it's life. People pass through you and somehow they forget that they passed through you because they've gone to another stage, or probably when they were with you, they really did not create a connection. There are so many things that could be the reason, the way you treated them. I always talk about Monday Sinclair. Monday Sinclair, for me, was my lifesaver. But then there was Coach Dandison Imezirike, there was a whole lot of other people who gave me that opportunity. It could be, I can't really place one thing to it, but within the week I saw this interview where Jay-Z was interviewed. Why is it that he does not invest in the project? And his explanation, if you see that video, I mean, maybe you go to YouTube and say, why Jay-Z does not invest in the project? That could just very well answer the question. Every young person in the ghetto is dreaming that when I have my money, I want to live in the big places like Ikoyi, VI, and all that. So once that money comes, it is number one first, self-preservation. You want to secure yourself and hoping that I will go back to that coach later. And then eventually, your children will come in, your wife, your family, other distractions, and then you just forget that person.
Yeah, I mean, I brought that up because there are a lot of talents and passion. Odin Galluman, Brown Day, and notable names, passion. Yeah. So, this is a city full of talents, footballing talents.
But for somebody like Odio Igalo is giving back now. I mean,
Yes,
alone, and the fact that he takes care of a lot of widows and a lot of people, for me, he's giving back.
So to add to what you said, I mean, it's just like, it's your values, and I mean, there are also a lot of distractions that cause you to, exactly. Well, if I won't forget, he might forget, but that's just how life is.
Why am I the one that will forget?
Okay, so for me, I think individual differences play out as well. Yeah, such a coach may have brought up a particular player who, for him, the first thing is to come back and show gratitude before moving ahead. So individual differences here.
In the Bible, Jesus Christ healed 10 lepers, only one came back. So it's this problem has been with us since forever. But let's move on. The female league started on Wednesday, and you were at Agege, firing all the tweets and giving us updates. Share your experience, and let's not forget your core zone. The Surulere.
Yeah, it was a good one, a good experience. The turnout, the fans turnout, it was massive. The chairman of football was there, Aisha Fadlich was there, she was present, and it was a good game. You can't compare the female game to the men's standard. The intensity wasn't there. It was good, and credit to the Queens, they played very good football. They were better than the men's standard in the day. And they deserved the victory. But like I said, it was a massive experience. The fun came out. It was to cheer the girls on. It was a noisy atmosphere. Yeah. But the drink started, you just couldn't make use of that home advantage. And they came with the victory.
All right, it was good that the great coach, my former coach, Coach Gordon Izilia, is the director of female football in Edo State. He came with the team. And if you have someone like Gordon Izilia in your team, I know you don't know that man, but if you have someone like Gordon Izilia in your team, you obviously would have a good powerhouse. Now, let me leave you and come to Bamji. Last week, we talked about, we're just starting to talk about Atletico Madrid. And let's not forget that in your top 10, the first name you mentioned was Joao Felix, who's now an Atletico Madrid player. So let me start with you here. Atletico Madrid. A couple of days ago, they annihilate, obliterate, discombobulate, decimated, mauled, as we say it over here, Real Madrid, 7-3. Half time, it was 5-0. Almighty Real Madrid. At some point, Gareth Bale was laughing on the bench. I don't know. My mouth. I've said I won't say this to you. But, and last week I asked this question: is Zinedine Zidane digging his grave? But this time around, I'm going to change it. It seems like the Leopard is changing his spots. Diego Simeone. We've always known him for astute defending, impregnable defense. Unmovable defense. Better than Mourinho. It doesn't pack the balls, but there's a way he plays. Is it going to become an attacking force this time around?
Okay, but when your main defender, your main defender, I think you've made a statement that I'm trying to change. In Diego Godin, selling Diego Godin was a big surprise for me because I thought Godin was
a massive statement.
A very massive statement. Talking about that game against Real Madrid, it's important not to put too much to friendlies, but
why?
You shouldn't take too much.
I put a whole lot to every game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if it was Madrid that beat Atletico Madrid by 7 goals to 3 and Eden Hazard scored 4 goals, the whole world would be bubbling that, oh, we said it, Eden Hazard is this, is World Footballer of the Year in line, is this, that. But because it's like this now, you say we shouldn't put more. Me, I'm putting more.
We're moving over that. We saw a sign of things to come. We saw Joao Felix running rings around all the Madrid defenders. We saw Trippier bombarding forward. I think Simeone is trying to change what he used to be.
So Simeone is saying that because Mauricio Pochettino have been dressing like me, celebrating like me, behaving like me, now I want to behave like Pep Guardiola.
Maybe, like I said. Moving on to La Liga, I think what people tend to not talk about so much is the fact that Barcelona has dominated that league. If you check in the past 9 years, they've won it 7 times.
Yeah.
They've won it 7 times. So I think with the money he has spent this time around, he needs to bring an attacking side to his game for Atletico Madrid. They need to go back there and challenge and say, we can't. This is the best league in the world. We can't make it a one-team league. We can't make it a one-team league. We need to show that we can attack the likes of Barcelona, the likes of Real Madrid, but the Messi factor is too much.
Does this game also show that there is a chink in the armor for the Galactico Real Madrid? Like the defense of Real Madrid is 100 times weaker than it used to be. This is quicksand. It cannot hold water. Water will sink through. Is this what we're going to experience this season? Marcelo is fading out. Sergio Ramos is struggling. What's going to happen with this defense?
I think with this, I think Real Madrid is going to dip in the transfer market again. I think so, if you ask me. And they even made a statement again with Bill. Bill was about to go to China. Yeah. But I think now the deal is off. I mean, so
Zidane sense to injure as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think you'll be watching them in that game and tomorrow.
So Zidane is thinking. He has brought more thoughts to his game that I can't let Bill go.
And then there is also the talk of Florentino Perez wanting to bring in Neymar. You are thinking that Neymar might not bring a solution to the play on the field, but is a market strategy for them. And I say when they bring in Neymar, I don't see Neymar sitting on the bench for Eden Hazard for any reason. If it ever happens, I rate Neymar ahead of Hazard any day. I don't think Hazard is in that league anyway. But you think that Hazard and Messi are similar? That's your own thing. Now I'm going to come to you.
All right.
Because next week we'll talk extensively on La Liga statistics.
Yes.
Before you go, you showed us all the statistics.
Yes.
Are you saying by your statistics and saying what you've seen?
Yes.
Rodri going to Man City, Liverpool not signing much. Are you saying the top four will remain the same? Arsenal and Man U doesn't have a chance of breaking in?
Except Arsenal signs a centre back because they've not fixed their problems from last season. They stand a very good chance to knock Chelsea off the top 4.
What about with the signing of Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James and possible Fernandes and Harry Maguire? Who's that? Not bring Manchester United into the top 4.
Somebody has to put the ball in the net. Lukaku's situation is still hanging in the balance.
Rashford
What about Anthony Martial?
No, I don't think Anthony Martial.
So you're saying Manchester United will not make
Arsenal just needs to get a commanding centre back like what Liverpool did with Virgil van Dijk, and I'm sure
Arsenal have also not replaced Peter Cech.
Yeah, Peter Cech was not the number one.
They are playing Europa, so they still not replace him in Europa.
I think Leno is decent.
But for the league, what about Europa? Is he going to play in all competition?
I mean,
they just need to get a decent deputy. Just a decent deputy will do.
Okay. For you, if I put you on the spot today, we're talking about goalkeepers in the Surulere League. What's the best goalkeeper that you've seen in the Surulere League?
I think Imo is he keeps for the Royals FC. I think I had a couple of interviews with him, which will on subsequent edition of the show. He's a good keeper. Like I said, he keeps for the Royals FC. He's a commanding goalkeeper. He's very vocal. He had a good kick. He makes good saves. A couple of times he saves the team. If you at times you need a keeper to step up.
Yeah.
Make those important saves just to keep the team in the game.
I can't listen to him for the love of the Champions League.
Yeah, so I think he's one of the top keepers in the Super League. Despite his team, despite the team not being at the top, but I think he's a wonderful goalkeeper.
Well, this is where we say that time flies when you're having fun. I really, really want to go on, but time is not our friend, and we're rushing today to catch a plane because we're all flying out of the city where we're recording. But before I go, let me come to you, Bam. You love Manchester United. Something in you wants them to win the title. But this thing, I said this in 2014, and I'm going to say it again.
Okay.
Is Manchester United obsessed with the calamity of Liverpool that they want to repeat it? Because the way it's going, they might just go like another 30 years without winning the league title.
The best way to knock a team off its perch is when they're in the transition stage. United got into the transition stage when Ferguson left, so and since then they've not been able to recover. But when you're saying they're obsessed with the calamity of being like Liverpool, I think it will take a while. What Solskjaer is trying to do is he has said that he looked at Alexis Sanchez signing the last summer, and he said, we're not going to do anything like this. That's why I knew Bale was ruled off, and any really big signing like that was ruled off. So he's trying to bring pace back to United's game, trying to bring young players. You can see with the signing of Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. So United fans, it cannot be too hopeful. You can't. I don't think you can be too hopeful right now.
Should they keep Pogba?
They need to.
Pogba should stay.
It's important.
So you're not one of those people who think that Pogba is a bad player?
No, he's not a
so
bad
he
player.
should stay.
He should stay.
And if he stays, it's good for Manchester United.
It is good for Manchester United.
Well, whatever Pogba does for Manchester United next season, hold this man responsible. If he doesn't do well, if he do well, also praise him for that. That is if Manchester United keeps Pogba. I'm going to ask you this.
Okay.
What do you think is going to win the Premiership?
Manchester City.
Manchester City.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to win La Liga?
I'll pick Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
With or without Neymar?
With or without Neymar.
What do you think is going to win the Premier League?
It's gonna be decided in the Super Six, like
Yeah, in the Super Six.
But I just think Dominion is for that team. Yeah.
Well, for me, I think box to box should win it.
Dominion also a fantastic team. They play in that region, so the farm just give them just that advantage. But like I said, wonderful team.
Let's put you on the spot. Who's going to win the Premier League?
Manchester City. So Manchester City is too good. Yes, they still need a centre back to replace Vincent Kompany, because if Vincent Kompany had not scored that goal against Leicester, all of this conversation is different. But I still think they'll win it because their X factor is actually back, and I pray he doesn't get injured. It's not Rodri, it's not Fernandinho. It is Kevin De Bruyne. If they manage to keep Sané and Kevin De Bruyne plays, if he plays 80% of the game in the season, Manchester City are champions like they did 2 seasons ago. They will not get anybody run them ragged like Liverpool did last season. This is my take on this. And
before we go off, sorry, I think we should talk about like the biggest surprise of the transfer season so far. Nabil Fekir moving to Real Betis.
My biggest last season, Liverpool wanted to sign him for 80
exactly,
million.
and he moved for so cheap.
Well, this is how the cookies crumble. Even on the show, this is how the cookies crumble. But for me, the biggest transfer is the fact that Juventus have managed to sign Aaron Ramsey and Adrian Rabiot for free. If they like, pay them 500 million. I don't care. This is why we say bye-bye on the show. Thank you to Francis. Thank you to Precious Omasue. Thank you to you, Emmanuel Sebastian, who's always here for us. And our big man in the house, Rick Ross. Yes, Ojo Bamiji, thank you very much. I remain Daffy Matthew Esiogene. You can call me the Elegbete one of sports. It is the Sports Lounge on Elegbete TV. Have a lovely week. Bye-bye.